Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today we're going to pick up a very cheap VW Passat Estate that I bought for just £350. But first, let me tell you how this came about. Last week I sold a very nice Mazda 6 to a guy, and when I asked him about his part exchange, he said, no, it's just an old Passat, you won't want it. So I thought, not so fast there. He thought he could get around £400 for it in scrap, so I said, look, if it makes your life any easier, then I'll give you £350 for it, and at least then you can drive up to pick up the Mazda and leave that with me. I know that the price of metal fluctuates all the time, so I knew that this was only worth about £300 in scrap, so I thought, well, I can write £50 out of my profit, it's not a big deal. Anyway, it was left that he was going to scrap it himself for the £400, but then a few days later he called the garage to say, right, I'm having no luck now with the scrap, would you give me the £350 for it in swap? So obviously I did. Now, although I was there to do the deal, I haven't actually seen this Passat before. So today I thought we could have a look around this car together and see if we can save it from the jaws of death. I hate scrapping cars. There's always a little bit of life, well, there's usually a little bit of life left in anything. I know I always preach this, but it's far better for the environment to keep an old car on the road rather than go out and buy a brand new battery EV. Anyway, let's go and have a look at this Passat then, shall we? I'll see you there. Well, so much for saving this from the scrapyard. That looks like it's fit only for the scrapyard. Let's not write it off just yet. In typical VW fashion though, there's not much left of the front wheel arches. It looks as though the tyres are alright from a distance. It's a 2005 55, so it's a late registered 2005, September onwards. It's got the original VW plates. I mean, it's quite original really, apart from the rotten front wheel arches and rust on the rear arches as well. That would look far better with a decent wash actually. Right, as always then, let's check it out using Car Vertical. So, all you need to do is go to carvertical.com, type in the vehicle reg. In this case it is, yes, Yankee Echo 55 BYT. If you want to do one of these checks for yourself, by the way, and I urge you to do so before you hand over any cash for a used car or motorbike, you can save 10% on each report using my promo code HIGHPEAK, or click the link below in the video description. They are really thorough vehicle checks. This is currently checking millions of cars across dozens of countries' databases. It tells us whether it's ever been stolen, written off, had a mileage rollback, or has outstanding finance on it. Now, in this particular case, on a car that I'm thinking about scrapping anyway, if it does have a dodgy history, then it's just kind of the final nail in its coffin, really. May as well knock the engine off, hadn't I? In case Greta Thunberg's watching. So, the report is ready. Right, let's check this out. We're all clear. Never been stolen. The mileage is genuine. No outstanding finance, and it's never been involved in an accident. Car Vertical actually have recently revamped the whole site, so it now gives you a bit of a write-up about the Passat. I'd forgotten you could get it with a 2.8 litre V6. In fact, you could also buy it with a 4 litre W8. Right, last known mileage was 177. That was at the last MOT, so it is quite high miles. Having said that, it's a 18-year-old car, isn't it? So it's probably average, 10,000 miles a year. So 177,954. That was done in March this year, which means it's got a very long MOT, this. Seems a shame to scrap it then, doesn't it? The average market price for such a vehicle is £950. Might be some profit in this then. It is a diesel, manual, 4-cylinder. Let's just check the MOT history then. So it passed its MOT in March this year, and it only had 5 advisory items. Oil leak but not excessive, offside rear coil spring corroded, offside front upper suspension component pin or bush slightly worn, offside front shock absorber has light misting of oil, near side rear coil spring corroded. That's not too bad, is it? Right then, let's go and have a look around it. I've just realised it is parked in unlucky bay 13. Never a good sign. Right then, feast your eyes on this. I mean, this gets better. We've got both sets of keys, one of which looks like it's rarely been used, and the original Richard Alexander VW tag, which matches the plate on the front. Somebody told me, well, I knew this to be true anyway, but there's sponge behind these panels on this era of VW, which I think is to absorb the noise of the diesel engine, but of course it traps in moisture and then they rot from the inside out. Looks a mess, doesn't it? I mean, apart from that though, it does just need a very, very good clean. Got matching plates on the back. I can see the parcel shelves in there. So it's the TDI with the red eye, so it's the slightly higher horsepower model. Nerd alert. We've got a Champiro. Who makes that? Nobody that I've ever heard of. But it's on about 4 mil of tread. Blistering rust spots here, but what do you want for 350 quid? We've got one good tyre. Now we've got a matching Champiro on again about 3 mil. That's not bad. Well, looks a bit rusty under there, doesn't it? But what do you want? This has murdered an awful lot of bugs, this car. Look at that. I always quite like this era of Passat. My dad had one for years, and it was really good on fuel and quite quick. I think that was a 150 horsepower. Got a crack there in the mirror. Got another matching Champiro there. This, I think, would be transformed with a good old clean. Oh, I'm missing a mirror glass there. Can soon order one of those. And we've got a matching Champiro on the back. So matching tyres always means that someone's looked after it, generally. Right then. I've just noticed there, that rear door was unlocked, but the front one was locked. We've got a faulty door lock. Alarm works though on the bright side. What treasures have we got? Very grubby, but we've got a full leather interior. I mean, that leather interior is probably worth a couple £100, isn't it? To the right person. We've got mats on mats, so somebody's had a bit of pride. And the original mats underneath. Let's not write this off just yet then. If there's a clutch in this and some brakes, there might also be some profit. Somebody's been to France there, haven't they? I think that's a minstrel. I hope that's a minstrel. What else can we see? More mats there. It is very grubby, but it would clean up. Right, so we've done 183,000 miles. 183,088. Two fat ladies. Oh, we've got heated seats as well, look at that. Have we got any warning lights on? I think that's a parking sensor, is it? I don't know. So we've got heated seats, a cassette player, the old VW Gamma system, and a front-loaded 6 CD changer. They're the worst cup holders I've ever seen in my life. This isn't a bad car, this. That's never been used, look at that. It is rather warm in here, guys, let me tell you. Locking wheel nut there. It's very important that, so nobody nicks the Champiros. Looked in there already. They're not all broken. This really isn't bad. Let's have a look under the bonnet. That works. Ah, we've got a gas strut as well. This is really clean, actually. Very clean. I'm trying now to find a cam belt sticker to see if the cam belt's ever been changed. It must have been, mustn't it? An 18-year-old one of these. Must have been changed at some point. Can't see anything obvious. Right. Ah, there we go. So it's the 130 brake horsepower model. 1.9. This was quite a reliable old engine. Service history then. I've got the logbook here. What else have we got? Service book then, let's have a look, shall we? Service schedule. So it was supplied at Elland Road in Leeds. So it was registered in October 2005. Ah, right, here we go. There's a bit of history then straight away. quite a bit of history. This gets better. So 2009 at 37, 2011 at 55, JCT 600 Bradford. Timing belt's been done in 2013, so that was 10 years ago and 100,000 miles ago, but at least it's had one. I've got a feeling this might have had another as well. This is very good history actually. So it was still going to VW for repairs or servicing at 95,000 miles. It's unusual. People just give up on them after they're out of the warranty period. 110,000 miles, 2015. 118, 132. Is there another belt? Is there another belt? No. Okay then. 141. Brake service, brake fluid. And we've got here workshop comments. Another one at 154. 151 and then 154. Or 164 rather. 164. Which was last year. Right, so it hasn't had its other belt. But at least it's had one. One. Should we fire up? In fact, let me roll it forward. Well, she runs. That mirror's estate though, do need to order one of those. I'll pull it forward then so we can have a look in the boot. Let me see if this climate control works. I would be very surprised if this works. Right, we're all good, aren't we? It's filthy, but I think this would clean up. Gas struts still work. Very sensible cars these. We've got 2 power outlets there. First aid kit. This would be ideal for somebody that just wanted a dog car, something like that. Load liner there. Looks like we've had a dog in here anyway, because there's lots of little hairs everywhere. And we've got a spare. Some Red X. De-icer. Some gaffer tape there. You never know when you need gaffer tape. You never know. That's got to be worth 80 quid alone. There'd be an awful lot of money rather in breaking cars if you had the time, space, inclination. Right, well I think we should go and drive this. Got an umbrella there. Totes an umbrella. Look at this. German engineering. That is a room key card, isn't it, for something in France. With that. Right, let's see if this drives. I can't believe that I've got no warning lights on at all. It drives okay. Clutch feels okay. The aircon isn't working, to be fair, but 350 quid. So far then, the only fault really is the wings, which are rotten, the near side rear door, which doesn't lock. That is about it. I've not got a whistling turbo or anything. All seems to be all right. Pulls quite nicely actually. My brakes work. I know you can't see this, but in front of me is a red Audi TT convertible, which I sold about 5 years ago. In fact, funny story with that, I left it on the road outside work, outside the showroom, because it was like summertime and I thought, I always try and park a convertible there with the roof down. It always, I think, brings people to the door. Anyway, I went for a haircut then in the next village. And I was sat there and all of a sudden, sat in the chair getting my hair cut and the heavens opened and I thought, oh no, I've got that TT outside with the roof down. By the time I finally drove back to work, it was wet through, so then I had to get it in the showroom and leave it to dry for about 3 days. Broke my GoPro, look. Never mind, these things happen. So, back to the car then, we've got... right. The rear window driver's side doesn't work, but the passenger one does. As does the front passenger. Right, 3 out of 4 then. This actually drives quite well. The fact that it's got 9 months MOT remaining makes this worth something, doesn't it? I think what I'll do is run this down to the car wash and leave it for a mini valet. I'll order a mirror glass, and then I think I'll take it to my mechanic and just get them to check it over and see how bad it is. Perhaps get them to give it an oil change just to bring that up to date. And I think this is the kind of car that, I don't know, part exchange to clear, 795, 895, I don't know. Got to be a quick double your money job, hasn't it? Right, I'll catch you with you later on then. Well, we're back in the old Passat, and I've got good news. Not only have I saved this car from certain death, but I've also sold it for a profit. After we last spoke, I took it down to my local car wash, where I left it for a mini valet, which is basically a wash on the outside and a vacuum on the inside. And it came up looking really good. It only cost me £15 and I didn't need to break into a sweat. Then I dropped it off at my mechanic's for an oil and filter change, a general check over and a new door mirror glass. The next day my mechanic called me, and apart from the issues I knew about already, a faulty rear door lock and a faulty rear window, it all checked out okay. Actually, that's not quite true. They found an oil leak coming from the turbo, but it isn't a major one, and I think that's acceptable for a car that's done 183,000 miles. But apart from that, those 3 things, it all checked out okay, so I thought it's just too good to scrap. I picked it up from my mechanics, and as luck would have it, I got a phone call from a friend who told me that his friend's looking for a cheap runaround for about £1,000. Just something that will get them to and from work, do the tip run, take the dog out in, and keep miles off their own nicer car. So I mentioned this Passat, which to be fair, drives really well. I told him that it checked out okay, barring the oil leak in the door window and the door lock. And I said, in all honesty, if I were looking for something like this, then I'd happily drive it. Nothing wrong with it, really. Now, I didn't greedily say, oh yeah, you can have this for £1,000. What I did instead was sell it to him for £750. Now, if you remember, I paid £350 for the car. I spent £15 at my local... Someone's in a rush? It's a Sunday morning, why are you driving like that? Where was I? So yeah, I paid £350 for the car, I spent £15 at the car wash, and I spent £130 at my mechanics. I could have saved a little bit of money and replaced the door mirror myself because they charged me £25 for that, and I think I could have found one on eBay for probably 10. But whatever, everybody needs to make a living, don't they? My grand total then on this 18-year-old Passat is £495, so by selling it at £750, I've made £255. I'm really quite pleased with that. 250 quid, I mean, as a return on investment, it's pretty good, isn't it? And most importantly, I've saved a car from almost certain death. I've mentioned this 1,000 times already, but keeping an older car on the road is far better for the environment than going out and buying a brand new battery EV. It just is. I'll be invited to the next COP26 or 28, whatever it's called at this rate, won't I? Right, well I think that's about it. So thank you once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'll leave the link below. And yeah, cheers guys. See you next time.